Okay guys, as you were saying before the break, we were explaining the present continuous. And we said when do we use it? We use it for speaking about something or describing an event that is happening right now as we're speaking. And we said to make a sentence, the one who did the verb to be, and ing that be, like added to the verb. Now we will move on. We will actually go through another tense that we took during this level, which is the past simple. Okay guys, first thing, the most important thing about any tense that we study, to be able to actually use it correctly and express yourself using this tense, is to know the usage. Or simply, when do we use this verb? Okay, past simple. Can you guess when do we use the past simple? Okay, simply, or as you may have heard during the explanation, past simple is used to speak about an action, that's happened and ended in the past. Again, and focus about this point. When do I use past simple? I use it to speak about an action, something that happened in the past and ended. Not here anymore. So now let's move on and speak about the sentence. Just 1 second, guys. 1 second. Okay, sorry guys, now back again. Now we're speaking about how to make a sentence with the past simple. As you can see from the title of the tense, simply it is called past simple. So to make a sentence, it is actually easy and one of the simplest ways to make sentences. To make a sentence in the past simple, all I need is the one who did the verb and the verb but in the past form, and focus so much with this. The common mistake that people do usually when they try to make a sentence is they forget to put the verb in the past form. Like people tell you, yesterday I go to the club, or yesterday I travel with my friend. You cannot say this. To make a sentence in the past simple, remember, first, to put the verb in the past form. Second, not to put anything else. A lot of people make mistake and feel something is missing with the word. I need to add something. So they put verb to be to it. Don't. To make a sentence in the past simple, all I need to do is simply the one who did the verb and the verb in the past simple. Now let's go with the examples and see. Like somebody, before we go through, somebody may ask me, so if it's so easy, what is the trick? Like if I only put the one who did the verb and the verb in the past, where is the trick? The trick is, the verbs are not all the same. We have two types of verbs. The first type is called the regular type, the normal one. Is it easy? What is the regular? The regular is simply, if I want to make the verb in the past, I add ed to it. As you can see here. Like the verb cook from the past, it becomes cooked. The verb watch in the past, it becomes watched. The verb help in the past, it becomes helped. And so, so here is the idea. Let's go through some examples. He cooked dinner yesterday. So as you can see, I have yesterday, so it's the past. Automatically, I have to understand that, when I see cook, I understand that this verb happened and ended, finished. Okay. She watched a movie last week. So, see watch in the present to make it in the past, watched. I helped my mom and I washed the dishes last week. They cleaned the floor yesterday. Clean in the present, wanted to make it in the past, added ed. We stayed at home yesterday. Stay in the past. Wanted to make, in the present, wanted to make it in the past, I added ed to it. So As we said, first type, totally easy. Regular verbs or normal verbs. To make them in the past form, simply add ed to the verb. How about the second type? What is the second type, or the not so easy? The second types are called irregular verbs. Those are verbs that totally change. Like, for example, as we can see here, this one, for example, the verb go. The verb go, if I want to make it in the past, I don't add ed to it. No, it totally changes. Go in the past becomes went. So instead of saying I go to school, I say, sorry, instead of saying he go to school, I say he went to school. This one, the verb sleep. If I want to make it in the past, I don't say sleep. Actually, I do. But you know, the most common one is slept. See, the verb totally changes. One other type of the irregular verbs are verbs that never change. Like, for example, cut. In the past, cut. Another example for this one, put, like the verb when you put something. So, put in the present, in the past, put. Here, this one. The verb here in the present, or the original verb, is buy. You know, so in the past it becomes bought. I buy something. In the past, I bought something. We woke up early this morning. The original verb is wake up. Wake. See, wake in the present becomes woke in the past. So let's go through them again. I go to school. I went to school. I sleep early, present. I slept early. I cut the tomatoes. Like, I cut the tomato, as we said. I buy, or they buy new mobile. They bought new mobile. And so, I think you already know this, the explanation. Now let's go directly to questions. As you can see now, you have like 5 sentences. I want you to take your time thinking and put the verb between the brackets in the past form. Let's go through them one by one. Last year, I go to England on holiday. First thing, can I say this sentence as it is? Can I say it, last year I go to England? Since I have last year, okay, since I said last year, I cannot say I go. I have to put it in the past form of the verb. See, I have last year here. I cannot say go. So what is the past form of go? As we said briefly, yes, went. Last year, I went to England on holiday. The other one, and focus here, this one is very important. In present continuous, we said we have verb to be that is in the present. If I would use I, it will be am. If I will use he or she or it will be a. If I use something plural like they or we, it becomes on. You know, this tense, this verb to be, in the past, it is either was or were. Can you remind me when do I use was and when do I use were? Okay, excellent. As you may have heard in the explanation, I use was with anything that is singular. I, he, she, or the name of someone like Ahmed, Muna, John, Tom, Rose. I use were with anything that is plural, more than one, like I was, but they were. So here, it, be fantastic. So what do you think? Which one should it be? Okay, excellent. It should be it was fantastic. Uh, Let me write the answers for you. When? So let's move on. I visit lots of interesting places. I be with two friends of mine. So if I want to make this sentence in the past, can I say I visit? Of course not. So what do I say? Visit, as you know, is a regular verb. So if I want to make it in the past, it becomes I visited lots of interesting places. I be with two friends of mine. So verb to be in the past. Will it be was or were? Here, in this one, in this sentence in particular. I will use was or were. Okay, excellent. Nice guess. Here I will use was. And why did I use was? Why did I use was? Because I is simply singular. Anything that is singular, I use was. Anything that is plural, I use were. In the mornings, we walk in the streets of London. Okay, imagine if I want to make this sentence in the past. Can I say, in the morning we walk? No, of course, this is the present. So if I want to make it in the past, then I tell you that walk here is a regular verb. How can I make it in the past? Excellent, well said. We simply add ed to it, so it becomes walk. I walk in the streets of London. In the evenings, we go to the pubs. First, let me ask you a question. What's the meaning of this word before we go to the grammar? What's the meaning of this word? Pubs. Okay, pubs is a British word and it has the same meaning of a restaurant or a diner, a small one that is mainly a bar and it offers small meals, sandwiches and chips. So, in the evenings, we go to the pubs. If I want to make this sentence in the past, what should I do? Okay, nice, you get it. Simply, I make the verb in the past, which is, in this case, when. So, another title. It becomes went. I hope it's all clear. And before we move on, as we said, like when we were explaining or revising the present continuous, one of the most important things is how to make a sentence, then how to make it negative. If you remember, it was the present continuous. We knew how to make a sentence, and we said negative equals not. Like, if I want to make a sentence negative, I have to add not to it. So, in present continuous, we added not to verb to be. Here, where should I put it? Like, if I want to make any sentence in the past negative, where should I put not? To know that the helping verb for the past simple is did. Did is the helping verb for the past simple. If I want to make a question or make negative, I use did. So simply all we need to know for now to make any sentence negative, I put did before the verb and I make the verb in the infinitive form. Again, this one. We said to make a sentence, normally in the past simple, I put the one who did the verb and the verb in the past form. How about if I want to make it negative? I simply put between the one who did the verb and the verb didn't and make the verb in the infinitive form. An example, this sentence here, last year I went to England. Normal sentence, affirmative. If I want to make it negative, last year I didn't go. Be very, very careful. We have something like a rule in English. You cannot have two verbs in the same sentence like that in the past. So I cannot have did, which is verb to do in the past, and another verb in the past. So what do I do? When I have did, any verb after it, infinitive. So again, the affirmative form is last year I went to England. This is the affirmative. The negative form of the verb, it should be last year I didn't go. Like another example. I visited lots of interesting places. The affirmative one, I visited lots of interesting places. If I want to make it negative, what do I do? Okay, excellent. See what we did here? We simply add did not or didn't. So it turns from I visited lots of interesting places to I didn't visit. Didn't visit, not visited. Lots of interesting places. In the mornings, we walked in the streets of London. In the mornings, we walked in the streets of London. This sentence we have here is called affirmative, a normal one. If I wanted to make it in the negative form, 2 steps. I add didn't, and I make this verb in the infinitive form. So it will turn from we walked in the streets of London to we didn't walk in the streets of London. Okay, moving on. In the evenings, we went to pubs. Affirmative sentence. In the evenings, we went to pubs. If I want to make it negative, same 2 steps. I put didn't before the verb, and I make the verb in the infinitive form. So it becomes in the evening, we didn't go to pubs. Note we didn't went. After did or didn't, it's a rule. After did or didn't, always the verb in the infinitive. Always. If you noticed during my explaining or my explanation for these sentences, I ignored 2 sentences, this one and this one. Can you see what's in common between them? Do you notice? Excellent. The verb here and here, is verb to be. So what is so special about verb to be? Why did I leave them till the end? Because you have to know if I want to make any sentence negative, I use didn't. Any sentence with any verb in the world, except if the verb I have is verb to be. In this case, and in this case only, I use verb to be in the negative. And I say, if it's was, it becomes wasn't. And if it's were, it becomes when. You cannot see it? So simply, guys, again, if I want to make any sentence in the past, the one who did the verb and the verb in the past form. If I want to make it negative, I put before the verb, as you can see, didn't. And the verb comes in the infinitive form. So last year I went. If I want to make it last year I didn't go. In the morning we walked. Negative. In the morning we didn't walk. Last week I visited lots of interesting places. If I want to make it negative, I say last year or last week I didn't visit. So I use didn't with all the verbs in the world except verb to be. If I have or if the main verb in the sentence is verb to be, I use the same verb for the negative. So for example here, it was fantastic. I will not say it didn't was or it didn't be fantastic. I will simply use was for negative. So I will say it wasn't fantastic. Example here, I was with two friends of mine. So if I want to make it negative, do I say I didn't be, or do I say I didn't was? Of course not. So simply I use was and I make it wasn't. And if it was were, I would say were. Moving on to more exercise about how to make a sentence and how to use the negative. Okay, in these sentences, as you can see, now we have like 5 sentences. I want you to make the verb in the past and to make the negative form of the sentence. I will say the first one as an example. He played football yesterday. I have yesterday, so it's in the past. So, and play here is like a regular verb. So simply, I say he played football yesterday. If I want to make this sentence in the past, I turn he played to he played football yesterday. How about if I want to make it negative? Yes, what do I do? The famous 2 steps. Simply, I add didn't, and after didn't, I put the verb in the infinitive. So it is either he played or he didn't play, not he didn't play. Okay, moving on. The weather be strangely fine. You said verb to be in the past, it is either was or were. So here I will use was or were, and why. Okay, excellent. You've guessed it. Here I first to know if I will use was or were, I have to look about the one I'm speaking about, or the one who did the verb. The weather. If I remove the weather, I will put it. So it always takes was. And as we said with verb to be, I don't use didn't. I simply, if I want to make this sentence in the past, it will be simply was. The weather was strangely fine yesterday. But if I want to make it negative, I also simply remove was and add wasn't. And it may happen to you like after a long day of work, you look pale or you look tired. Somebody asks you, yesterday you look different. What was wrong? You don't say, I was very, very tired. I was very, very tired. Okay? If I want to, you don't say I be or whatever. If you want to make it negative, as we said, was becomes wasn't, and where becomes were. Moving on, it's not playing a lot. If I want to make this sentence in the negative, what do I have to do? Excellent, you guessed it again. Simply to make the verb here in the past form. So if I told you that train is a regular verb, how can I make it in the past? Perfect. Rain becomes rains. So, and because we have not here, it means he rained. The normal sentence should be it rained a lot. If I'm making a normal sentence, it rained a lot. If I want to make it negative, the famous 2 steps. I add didn't, and after didn't always infinitive. So it becomes it didn't rain a lot. Clear? Okay, excellent, moving on. But we see some beautiful rainbows. See here is an irregular verb. The verb see is irregular. The past form from it Can you guess it? You already know it? Yes, it is saw. So what we saw some beautiful rainbows. How about if I want to make this sentence in the negative? What should I say? Two steps. First thing, I add didn't. Second step, I put the verb in the infinitive. So I can either say, but we saw some beautiful rainbows, or but we didn't see some beautiful rainbows. Last sentence, where spend you your last holiday? Okay. This part is more about the questions, not the sentence or the negative. I'm sure you have heard this in the explanation, but any helping verb in any tense I use for two things, the negative or the questions. For example, we said with the present continuous, the helping verb that we have here is verb to be. It means that in the negative I will use verb to be, like I am not playing or she is not eating, and I will use it in the question. Are you playing? Are you eating? So, same here. What is the helping verb for the past? We said before, the helping verb here is did. Verb to do, which is did in the past. So, simply, if I want to make, like, what do I understand that I have did in the past, I will use it for two things. The first thing is the negative, and we have already seen this. The second thing is in the question. Like, as you will see here, where you spend your last holiday. It should be where did you spend.